Yo, this is the After Party Show, and we are live right now on WSLR LP 96.5 FM, Sarasota, Florida. There's a list of things that I have to talk about for, law reasons, but apparently you're going to hear music tonight that the lyrics might not be so great. I can't find the actual layout, but, if you don't like it, we'll just turn the channel, please. Anyways, so we are here tonight, and I have some very special guests. Some very, very special guests. I have China Smith, and I have the producer and director, I believe, of China Smith's comeback documentary, which is Ray and Lori, correct?
That's correct.
Of course. So, can I get everybody to say a hello real quick?
Hello there.
Hey.
Oh, of course. Nice. And I have Kid Ron Burgundy over there, of course. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Good?
Doing great, thank you.
Good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, of course. So, if you can just move that mic a little bit closer to you. Nice. There we go. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got everybody picking up. Just give me a little bit hello real quick.
Hello.
All right. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you got to test the volume on these microphones. I mean, test. All right, so there we go. Anyways, so we're here tonight. We're going to talk about China Smith's documentary. He's making a comeback, and it's going to be great, of course. And I went and saw this, what was it, last week on... Last Wednesday. Yes, that was great. And I went in there, and it was at Minnesota Films group, and we were in Lakewood Ranch, and we went in there. Kid Ron Burgundy invited me, and thank you. I was very happy about that.
You're welcome.
And I got to see this live, and I got to meet all these great people. And so what do you think, China? I mean, you had this documentary about yourself. I mean, I bet it was great sitting in the movie theater, seeing yourself on the big screen, right?
It was a great experience. I have to be honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. I saw, as I was telling everybody, I saw how, Lori and Ray were putting it together. I saw how Kid Ron was filming and interviewing everybody. But when I got a chance to see the whole thing put together, I got a little emotional because it was very shocking to see some of your life story and some of the things you've done and getting ready to continue to do so. It was a true blessing for me to see it and for me to experience it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, honestly, I thought the same thing. When I was watching it, I was like, man, this is such a great video, just of you coming up and everything, and your dad, he had some great parts, some great insight. I mean, it was good to see your dad, like, on the screen talking about you, right?
Absolutely, because, him and I, of course, growing up, he started my career, my life, pretty much being my father, putting so much discipline and training and instilled in me as a kid, and he's one of the main reasons with so many other people where I am today and when I'm getting ready to go. So it was amazing.
Yeah, no, he seemed really happy too to be on that video. I could just see the smile on his face, when he was on there, and he just seemed all about it. So now, you grew up in Sarasota, kind of a Sarasota legend. You got some cool things. What was it like growing up around here and getting into boxing and just being a part of the Sarasota culture?
I said in the beginning, and I'll still say it, I still stand by it, probably to the day I die. There's no place like Sarasota. I've been a lot of places, but I love Sarasota. Like you said, I grew up here, played all sports. Football when I was a kid was my first love, and didn't really care too much for boxing, but through my dad, through Nathaniel Gates and so many other people, I would just box in little major tournaments, and of course, going in high school, I decided to turn pro, and then, and I was able to. One of the biggest accomplishments in my early career was have the opportunity to fight in my hometown, Sarasota, on television for a world's title, to get a chance to see all my family, my friends, and so many people that been there supportive, and that was a great experience.
Oh, yeah. So first, let's talk about you playing high school football. You played for the Riverview Rams. Now, I'm a sailor. I went to Sarasota High. So, we can't really like each other technically, but you're a pretty cool guy, so I'll make an exception.
Correction. When I went, it was called the University of Riverview.
Of course. So how was that, man? How was playing football? You were a pro. Like you were an all-star running back when you were playing in high school.
It was Riverview football, back then it was a great life lesson. I mean, we had so much competition. We had a team. We were dedicated, and you became a man very early, at an early age, and I had a great experience. To this day we still have the team and the coach. We still have a good camaraderie, and we just work hard. So it was a good experience. On Friday night, the city shuts down and come watch the football. So.
Oh yeah, no, I know, especially because I mean I've been to those Sarasota Riverview games. Those are the biggest games in town. I mean they set records almost every time. Like every year they set a new record for attendance. It's always huge.
Absolutely, it didn't matter what the record was. If we all thank God we always had a great record. But that particular night, when it was Riverview versus Sarasota, like you said. It was the biggest game. I mean, this because of Ravi, Sarasota wanted to beat Riverview because we won all 4 years. But, but it was great competition.
Oh, of course. So, so now you said you started boxing in high school as well, right?
Well, short story. I was 3 years old, starting sports. My father's footstep. He said, "Come on, boy, drag me out of there," because he was the law. He was the sergeant. And then going into high school, I stopped boxing. And because I wanted to concentrate on football, and I wanted to join the '96 Olympics, and I had missed the registration by a few months, a few weeks, or whatever. And then the next biggest thing they had was the U.S. National. I haven't fought in 4 years because of football, but I felt there was no 17, 18-year-old kid in the world that could beat me. So we had to qualify in the state of Florida. We did that, and then our next meet was in Gulfport, Mississippi. Fought 2 guys, and I fought the last guy on ESPN, knocked him out in the second round. Then they wanted me to go to Cuba to fight for amateur world's title, which I wasn't ready because I had my football team and I was committed to it, so I turned that down. And then we were playing football. We had opportunity to go to state, and I thought I was going to win state, but we fell 1 or 2 games short. So that's when I made the decision not to depend on other people, so I decided to turn pro.
Yeah, hey man, you know what? I don't blame you, bro. I mean, from what I understand from the documentary, when you see this documentary, you will understand why. But you know what? That decision that you made to not depend on other people and to go for boxing, I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just to go with that, from being like the all-star running back and to have so much motivation and devotion to what you're doing, and to have these other kids that, they kind of just blow it off. Oh, I'm going to go party this weekend, or oh, I'm going to go do this. And it's like, who really wants to depend on that? It's like, bro, I got all the skill and you're like sitting back and, you're not doing anything. That's ridiculous.
It's very true. I have a lot of kids, a lot of people. I'm not bragging, but they come up to me like, "Oh, I would love to be like you." And I say, I appreciate it, but you don't know the sacrifice and the dedication and a lot of commitment that you have to make, to tell the people, "No, I would love to hang with you," and you have to give up a lot. There's so much, but in order to get where you're trying to go to reach your goal, you have to make those ultimate sacrifices, not just in boxing, but whatever you decide you want to do.
Oh yeah. So tell me a little bit about your dad's influence now. I mean, I know he had a big part on your life, and from what I understand, he used to play sports as well. I believe in Sarasota at all.
Yeah, we still have competitive talk. He played for the Sarasota Cardinal Mooney High School, and to this day, they're the only team that won the state championship in Sarasota, and that was 1972. So I still hear a lot about so you could never play on my team.
Oh, that's hilarious. I actually I know I think somebody who played with him named Tony Iruli. He said that a friend of mine his uncle played with your dad on the Cardinal Mooney team, and he was talking about, he's like, yeah man, we were good. And he coached I can't remember which college it was, William and Mary, I think he was the head coach for there, but he said he knew your dad, so I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, no, so I mean, as far as like your sports life, how big of an influence was he for you, as far as when you're going through your boxing career, like when you were becoming a pro, and him being there for you, like what was that like for you?
Well, it was tough at times because my dad was so hard on me, and sometimes being young, I didn't quite understand it, but the discipline, and he would always push me. But what he did as a young kid, he instilled in me to never give up, to never quit. I don't care how tough it gets or how it looks, you know. The thing you face is just a challenge, and I love I told him, he instilled in me as a young kid. Now as a grown man, so any obstacles I face, I know it's just a matter of time that I will overcome it. So he's been a major part of that. I would say with all the trainers that I had throughout my sports career, no one trained me like my father has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can believe it. I remember I saw the video. I think you were hitting the heavy bag in your backyard, right? Yeah, and then I'm sure, was he like your head coach at that point, sort of giving you, helping you make it through that and giving you pointers and trying to lead you?
He's my only coach. I mean, I had other coaches. I had a lot of different coaches, but he was the one that instilled in me every day, get up and let's run. Let's hit the bag for hours on end, and well, you need to go some more because you're not sweating enough, you're not breathing loud enough, and we make a joke, when I was younger, about me having asthma, and to this day I don't know if I had it, but if I did, he ran it out of me.
Oh, that's hilarious! That's hilarious, man. Yeah, they say there's no cure for that, right? Come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we're back. We're here with China Smith, Ray Rodriguez, and Lori Collins, and Kid Ron Burgundy. How's everybody doing? Good?
Great.
Good?
Great.
Yeah.
Very swell.
Very swell, of course.
Swell.
Kid Ron's swell over there. So anyways, we're here talking to China Smith, Mr. Sarasota himself over here. So, you said a little bit earlier we talked about your nonprofit. So basically your nonprofit, you work with a lot of kids and you kind of show them the way, to become a good athlete and to sort of put like a meaning, sort of into their life. Give them something to go after. Give them that grit and that devotion that you had. You kind of portray that or, give that to them. So what's that like for you to really do that, work with all these kids?
It's great, when you're dealing with kids, and even young adults, or because I would mentor and help anybody if I can, or work with anyone. Just knowing that you're trying to instill in them positive direction and tell them that, from where I grew up and what I've done and what I try to do is work hard. Mm-hmm. And we'd help, you're telling kids, hey, this, you don't have to go this way. It's okay to stand alone, stand by yourself, and try to hang with the right people, be in the positive, looking more in the positive direction. And so when they see what I'm doing and what I've done, and when I bring the belts around, not for bragging rights, but for dedication and hard work, showing the kids and people that hard work does pay off. But with that, it comes responsibility. And, as I tell them, yeah, I have these, but it comes from respect. It comes from discipline and setting goals and working hard. Listen to my parents. Listen to my teachers and listen to the law and going to school and staying dedicated. So, and then what's a real reward is when you talk to kids when they're younger, and then a kid comes back, he's 17, 18 years old or 19, and he said, hey, you remember me? I said, no, not really. And he said, you saved my life, or I was getting ready, to commit suicide, or you talked to me, or you signed an autograph, or you gave me a word of encouragement. It makes you feel good, because it doesn't take much for a person to just say, hey, keep your head up, or you're doing a great job, or I'm sorry you had a bad day, but tomorrow could be better. Don't let, you don't have to, just because you fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
And that's just the fight in me, fight in life. So that's what I try to instill in kids. So
see, that's a beautiful thing, man, what you just said, talking about how it doesn't take much to say, keep your head up. And it's so funny because it's so true, like somebody like yourself with the recognition that you have, just to go out and say that to it really is life-changing for them, to where somebody else says it and it's not really a big deal. But for you to go and put your time out in order to do this and to make this impact in these kids' lives that, they might not have a role model of any sort, or somebody to tell them like, oh, you can do it. and then you go out and you tell them that this is all a possibility. I mean, that's a great thing. That, you know, something you're doing. I mean, you're touching these kids' lives in different ways, which, you know, I think that's great. I mean, I just have so much respect for that in order to do that, you know. I mean,
Thank you.
That's just such a great thing. So, so what about, you know, any upcoming fights that you might have? And
well, I'm still looking. Like I said, I'm looking maybe 2 to 3 months away. I'm looking to put in a local event down here. I don't want to get too much in detail, but I'm putting some things together because right now I'm in a great position right now. Like I said, my next 2-3 fights, I'm 2-3 fights away from fighting for a continental title, for a world title, because of my record. I still get calls from certain fights, but I just don't. I'm putting all my package together, and a lot of people might not understand, but and I tell them, well, you didn't understand when I told you I was going to be heavyweight champion of the world, when I was going to fight on television, when I was going to fight in my hometown, because I had a vision, and sometimes people might not understand your vision. So it's because let me back up. When I took time off to start in the community, and I kept telling people I'm going to return, I'm going to fight, and they said, well, you know, a year went by, and 2 years went by, and 3 years went by. Now 6.5 years go by, and you're still talking about fighting. But when you have a dream and when you have a goal, let no one stop you from fulfilling your dream. Because what you don't want to do, what I don't want to do, and I didn't do, thank God for it. I don't want to look back 15, 20 years later. I wish I could have, should have. I did come back, and I made a comeback, and I'm going to continue to make a comeback, and I'm going to continue to fight and do some more things. But I'm bringing the whole package with me. I'm going to bring other fighters, and I'll give them the opportunity to fight and maybe fight for world titles too. So that's one of my goals, and so putting that together.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. That's great too. I mean, that, and like you said earlier, trying to put together, you know, your company, your group, in order to, you know, lead more people in the right direction and try to get a thing going on. I think that's pretty cool too. I think it's a great idea, to be honest. I mean, I think somebody with your public image, in order to put something like that together, I mean, I think definitely people will follow you and, you know, join your cause in order to get them more fights in the future. Say after your boxing career, you could be sort of a manager almost. You know, is that something that you might be looking forward to, you know, down the road? I mean, obviously, you know, right now you're looking forward to the rest of your boxing career, but, you know, 10 years from now, something, you know, maybe leading more boxers into the ring and showing them the way and giving them an opportunity to go after belts like you did.
Absolutely, but less than 10 years, because as I look and learn for entrepreneurs and, you know, the Warren Buffetts and certain people, the Bill Gates, they have other things that they do, and they put it together. You know, yes, I'm in a position where I'm a few fights away, but as I'm planning and fighting, I could still have younger fighters, my younger stable, fighting a little smaller fight and build their record up to one day, 5 years, 4 years from now, they have the opportunity to fight for titles and put them in a better position. So, yeah, I'm putting all this together, you know, even with the sports entertainment, because I feel, you know, all of it's under the same umbrella, and I have a lot of contacts. I'm working with the right people. I'm just so, you know, things are coming together.
Oh, that's great, man. That is awesome to hear. Definitely that. And so now, you know, you're getting back into fighting. You're a little bit older. So you would say that you have a little more wisdom, you know, you're a little more mature with your fighting styles, the way you prepare, maybe, you know, when you go into practice and everything, the way you train. You know, when you're getting ready for these fights, so you would say that?
Absolutely, because now I know I've been there before, and once you flew into the moon, you can always fly back. You know, I mean, a lot of people haven't, so they could tell you what you should do or you shouldn't do. You know, people say, well, you should take this fight or you should do this, but it's only a few champions in the world today, even people that had the opportunity. So I know what I'm doing, and I know that. Like I said, I am more mature, so now I'm bringing a bigger package, a bigger plan for me and mine. So when I say me and mine, like my team, and because once I don't want to just have another fight. I want to make it really worth something that means something, where I can incorporate everything together. So
Definitely.
it may take a little time, but that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so during the documentary, it seemed you had a very good friend. His name was Rich, I believe. A good family friend of yours. Seemed like he was a big part of your life growing up. I believe you were friends with his son and everything. So can you talk a little bit about Rich and just sort of the impact he had on your life growing up, and where he is with you today?
Rich Jordan is he's my coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I always call him a coach to this day. Him and his son Mick Jordan, we've been best friends since 8 years old. And we play sports, football, basketball. We've been all over the country playing sports, and he's instilled so much because he's a legend, in his own right, playing football, basketball. As a matter of fact, where he's from in Michigan, they have a sign for high school, like Hall of Fame, a road sign that has Rich Jordan on there. But he has done so much for me and my family, and he's always been there, encouraging and leading the way and showing me right from wrong. And so he's been. I love him. I love the family, Miss Rhonda Jordan, and they're my second family. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually had an opportunity to talk to him for a brief second as I was leaving the movie theater. Him and his wife, they were at the top row, and I was the row right below him, and I told him I'd be interviewing you, and they were so happy. I mean, they just had the biggest smile on their face when I told them that, and they said so many good things about you. They seemed like, I could tell the second family thing instantaneously. I mean, it was just so clear that how much they cared for you. So I thought that was a really special, moment just to have with them when I was talking to them about it. So Ray's here, Ray Rodriguez, and Lori Collins. So how did you meet Ray, and where's your relationship with him go?
Ray and I go way back, maybe 10 years or so, 9, 10, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's been to a couple of my fights, like at Robosh Arena, and his son-in-law, Tommy Keelan, which is funny. I started training him. Now he's one of my trainers, and so we just have a great relationship, and we done some things together, and then just coming back, they wanted. We got involved in doing the workout video, and then one thing led to another. But Ray and Lori are phenomenal people. They, you can learn so much from them. Always around them, they're positive, and I just love them. It's like I said, I've been blessed. I have an extended family, and their daughter, Kira, and Tommy. They're beautiful people, and just a beautiful family. So I'm truly blessed.
That's awesome. What do you think about that, Ray?
Thank you, China. He's awesome.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, I think, just from listening to that, you can tell that you guys share a very special bond, definitely. Yes. So, I mean, what was it like working with China Smith on this documentary, with you two, and just sort of putting it together?
Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you, John, for having us on the show and giving us the opportunity to talk about this awesome documentary that we produced and directed along with Kit Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm a little experienced in the boxing. I was about 15, 16 when I stepped into the ring. I fought 3 times. I lost my first fight. I won my second fight. My third fight, I got beat up. The next day, I came into the ring and said, Don, I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. That was the end of that. Man, yeah. You'll be surprised how this got started. I know China was going to fight Hollywood Ruben, and I called Lori and I told Lori, let's do something for China to help him out. Let's do like a 2-minute commercial or for YouTube. Mm-hmm. And we were doing. I think I was shooting a movie with Kit Ron, text message, and we talked about that. Mm-hmm. And Lori said, yeah, you know what you're doing. No problem. Go ahead, do it. However, we started filming, and we interview a few people, and this documentary just took off by itself. And it was amazing. I mean, every other day was something different. We have a lot of footage on this documentary that we cut back a lot to have it, to make it nice, sweet, and interesting. And it just took off by itself.
Oh, yeah.
And before you know it, we had like, 55 minutes, something like that?
What's that?
We had about 55 minutes that we filmed, and then we cut it to...
Oh, yeah, we had 25, and then we went down to 21.
25 went down to 21.
Right.
Okay. Something like that. And we'd interview a couple of other people that was meant a lot to him in his life.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell, from the video, it seemed like you guys had a lot of fun putting it together and really just enjoyed yourselves. And
It was a lot of fun, yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We did.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, and honestly, thanks for coming on the show, too. I just want to say that. And I really appreciate, you guys taking the time out to come out here. And I really liked what you had put on at Minnesota Films. Kid Ron invited me out there. I talked to him. Originally, I was just like, hey, I'd love to interview him just about shooting the documentary. And he's like, oh, yeah, you should come check it out. And I came out there, and I mean, everybody was so nice. Meeting you guys, you were so nice, and China too, and taking some pictures in front of the sign, just watching the documentary. It was a good event. It really was. A lot of people showed up. I was very impressed with it. So that's cool, though. You started off with something small.
Right.
And, you thought it was going to be one thing. And next thing you knew, it just started blowing up, basically. It just really took off into its own thing. And it became this documentary.
It became the story of his life. And it was so wonderful because we got to know him on a different level. We knew him already.
Yeah.
But he shared pictures with us and shared contacts with us. And we started talking to people. And China became a different person to us. And in the beginning of the documentary, I actually envisioned, if you remember, the little boy praying. And that was such a wonderful scene for us to put, because typically in a documentary, you're not going to see something like that. So we started it out as China being a little boy. And he is a very spiritual man. And, it just worked out so beautifully. And I have to credit Ron for all of his work because he blended everything for us and just made it a wonderful story, and the music and the sound and everything involved. That particular scene had crickets in the background of the music, so it's very appealing to not only fighters but also to anyone who loves a story.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. As soon as I saw the beginning, I really like that part where, like you said, where the kid comes in and he starts praying, and I thought that was a great way to start it off. It kind of just gave, it showed some, I don't want to say it gave it meaning. There was definitely a lot of meaning in the documentary, obviously. But it just gave it that little extra, specialness at the beginning to show, show that how young he was when he really wanted to sort of have this dream of, what was going to become. And then to show where he, after that coming up. I thought it was a great lead-in, definitely.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely very special. So... you have a company, basically. It is called
1L1R Enterprises.
Of course, of course. So now that is clearly between you two. You've started it, correct?
Yeah, yeah. We have our company. We actually established our company about 7 or 8 years ago, and we're entrepreneurs. We have several different businesses that we work in, and we have been involved in the film industry and have known Ron for about 5 years now. So this was a wonderful opportunity to really take everything that we learned throughout that 5-year period, being in films and being in the background and, backstage. We learned a lot, and now we have put it out there. So it's kind of fun to watch the results of all those efforts.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, being on scene and everything, having the creative process right in front of you and being able to sort of manipulate that. I mean, what was that like being in the boxing, building with China and sort of being around him, hitting the heavy bag, then hitting the speed bag, sort of, deciding, okay, what is it that we want to show, and, training, like how do we want to show him training, and really, just sort of piecing it together, like, deciding where you want to go with that. How was that for you two?
That was great. Watching him hitting the heavy bag, like you said, the speed bag, the exercise that he was doing at the same time, his workout, it was awesome. I mean, it was different back in the old days compared to what it is today. And he works hard. I mean, it's unbelievable. What was that? 700 punches in that heavy bag in 3 minutes.
Holy crap.
Yes.
No
yes.
way.
There's 3 of us right here. Guys can run. We're the alibis. We couldn't believe that. I mean, we couldn't believe it. 700.
Yeah.
Wraps to that heavy bag.
Oh, man.
It's amazing. That's how hard he works. He deserved who he is today. The people's champ.
Oh, yeah. No, the people's champ. Definitely.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, how'd your hand feel after that, man? Just curiosity, you know what I'm saying? 700 punches in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it felt good, because I do it all the time. So.
Yeah. Very Jonathan was like, yeah, what are you talking about? It's no big deal for me, man.
That's nothing.
You think 3 minutes? Like, come on now. And I'm like, thinking about
I'll do it in 2, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it in 2 minutes. I'll really impress you. I'm over here like, my hand's dying just even thinking about that. 700 punches on anything. I mean, I could punch a pillow 700 times. I'd want to cry probably.
It blows you away.
Oh, I bet. No, that's great. So, from what I understand, you're trying to enter it in a few film festivals. So, why don't you tell me, what film festivals you're going for, and just how you go about putting a film into a film festival. What's sort of the process for that?
You got to fill up a lot of papers, a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
And we submitted to the Sarasota Film Festival. Like I said,
which is pretty big too. I mean, a lot of people might not understand just how big the Sarasota Film Festival is.
It got bigger than what it used to be.
Oh, definitely.
Remember that. So, like I told everybody, we submitted a couple of weeks ago, Friday. 2 weeks ago today, Friday. And like I said, I was in God's hands, see what happens. And then after this, we're going to go to Cannes, which is France. I want to keep it in Europe because the boxing in Europe is huge right now. European fighters don't want to come here because they got to pay 60% of the fee. What are they fighting for? So that's the reason they don't want to come here. And Gina Giannali, friends of China and a friend of mine, she's from Italy. And I submit her the trailer. She loved it. She goes, "This is nice, Ray. I like this." And we're going to Italy with it.
Oh,
Switzerland, Australia, Amsterdam, and then we're coming back into L.A., New York, of course, and then our hometown, Jersey City.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I think just hitting off in any of those places would be great. And then I think Europe, you're right. I think, from the boxing that they love there, I think that'd be a great idea.
That would be a great idea.
Now, if it did hit off in Europe, now China, would you think about boxing in Europe if the opportunity came up? I mean, if this video blows up in Europe, there's going to be some people looking at you over there. Now, would you think that'd be something you'd be interested in at all?
Absolutely, we could go all over the world. That's the idea. That's the goal. So
the money. The money is right.
Yeah,
he's already packed.
Exactly.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I think the documentary is gonna just help your publicity at that point, being able to get out there, and then, who knows? You could go to Italy and box, some guy from Italy. I don't know. There you go. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Definitely. It'd be very awesome. So, so when putting this documentary together, what sort of ideas did you have going in originally? I mean, I know you said you wanted to do the 25-second video, but as far as like, I guess just putting it together, and once everything started getting bigger and bigger, I mean, did you plan on originally getting as into China Smith's life? I mean, was it going to be more about just boxing, or did it sort of take off from some point?
To do it right, you have to dig and go right into his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know China for 10 years, and we tried really to dig in, but he holds back a little. He held back a little bit, but eventually he opened up. It's like, for example, you don't know me, you're not going to talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to talk about yourself at all. You're not going to open up to me. We're friends from way back, but it wasn't that easy to get into it. Then when you start giving us pictures, we start putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, everything, it just happened.
It just,
He looked at the pictures and looked at the things that we were doing, and he started opening it up, and
yeah. No, I could see that just in the documentary. I mean, especially with the whole with the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah, that was funny.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
with your mom. I thought that was a great look into your life just as a kid growing up, but it didn't necessarily have to do with boxing in general, but just to show, who you were growing up and the sort of family that you grew up with. It was a good time, just to sort of see it was just a entertaining type thing to make that a part. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was pretty.
It was great.
Too.
I mean, the way we're looking at it, it's like we have two hometown heroes in this documentary.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch any other documentary, it's not the same. I mean, you're not going to compete with. We're not going to compete with Mayweather or Oscar De La Hoya and all that. I mean, they millions of dollars. They just throw it away. We had a budget. We stuck to the budget. We're going to go a little over the budget because now we like to open up. We are doing some searches on going into Cuba with it. The South America Film Festival, it's held in Havana, Cuba.
Nice.
Yes, and maybe 50 years. The last time it was an American film shown in Cuba, or maybe longer than that. I don't recall. But we're going to give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is a great video to put into that. I mean, as far with a boxer making his comeback, I think, they can definitely respect that. It's somebody with grit trying to make his comeback. So, yeah, no, I think that'll be a good opportunity too, especially if that goes.
If that goes true, yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, you said there was two hometown heroes. Now, the other hometown hero was Nik Wallenda.
Yes.
Yes.
The famous Nik Wallenda. He has done the tightrope walk over Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon, I believe, right? Now, China, did you say that you had a slight history with Nik Wallenda?
I went to school together in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just amazing. Growing up, obviously knowing the family, we went to Tabernacle. The Wallenda family is a huge, huge family in the circus business, and seeing Nik Wallenda, all of his accomplishments and things he's done, and then just to reunite after so many years as grown adults with our own family, and the love in the family is still there, it never left. So that's just great.
Nice, definitely. So, what was it like? I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, the spirit around him, it's unbelievable. I mean, he came in, he parked the truck, walked into the house. You got to make him feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a voiceover is not easy, and you'd be surprised. He walked in, he rang the bell, Laurie opened the door. The minute he walked in, I'm already on cloud nine. So, Nik, from the Grand Canyon to my living room.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not Oprah. He could have jumped on a couch if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who he is. I mean, it was unbelievable. Then we waited for Ron. Ron came in about a couple of minutes late. Not late, he was there, but it was like a couple of minutes. And it was like nothing. He was just sitting on the couch. and just relaxing, and that's it. He was wow. It was I was
Yeah.
on cloud nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, could you tell? I know Nick is very religious, of
Yes.
course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think anybody who watched the Grand Canyon
Oh, yeah.
walk would definitely know, how religious he is. Because I remember he stopped about halfway through the walk and sort of bent down and, started praying to God. In fact, the entire walk he was praying, basically the entire time, and. So, I mean, what could you sort of just sense that when he came in?
Yes, you do. Yes,
Yeah.
you do. Yes, that was like I said. I was on cloud nine, and this guy's just. I mean,
Yeah.
he's you can't describe it. You cannot. That
Nick's
spirit.
is amazing, and just being in his presence it blew us both away. And when he left our home, both of us were like, "Wow."
Yeah. I feel like your
Yeah.
house is blessed almost.
Yeah,
like,
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he is.
yes.
He is. He's
We were
really
with-
an amazing person.
Oh, yeah.
We were with him the other day. We went to his.
He was just awarded the youngest member of the youngest inductee to the Circus Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And we were at that ceremony with him and his wife, and
That's pretty
It was
cool.
amazing.
Where was that at?
It was held in the Oslo,
Okay.
at the Ringling Museum.
Yeah.
In the old Oslo Theater, which is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice. It was real. We went to the reception, and then we also went to the actual ceremony, and it
Nice.
was amazing.
You
So,
could feel that.
Yeah,
I mean, it was.
he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Awesome.
beautiful. Yeah, definitely. So I got a question from some people listening in for China Smith. Now, when you're training these up-and-coming boxers, can you tell when one of these kids might be just sort of a natural? And if not, if you think he needs some extra help, do you have a different program sort of for beginners? And then, if somebody is a natural, do you sort of just take him under your wing and, show him the ropes sort of in a faster pace?
Yeah, so, first thing when a kid or someone comes to me, if I never seen them or don't know them, I don't care what their record or how many fights they had or didn't have, street fights or whatever. I take them all through a person to training because I want to be. Once we put them out there, we want to be responsible for them, and so we take, and I tell them, based on your skill, it's on you how fast you develop or not. But we take everybody through a personal training and make sure they know the fundamentals, to keep your hands up, and because everybody wants to go out there and they can fight, they can hit hard, but what about the other person? He's hitting back too. So
Yeah.
you want to be, just teach the basic fundamentals, and they go from there. And then once I'm more so of the mental part, the mentor coach, because boxing is 70% mental, 30% physical. And then once we establish what the goals are, what they're trying to do, then that's when my other trainer, one of my great friends, is Tommy Kinley. He comes in and say, okay, I say, Tommy, this kid, well, he has great potential. Let's work with him and let's see where he can go from there.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So when you see these kids, what's something that sort of gives away just sort of a natural? Is it somebody that when you see a kid, he really has just a mind for the match or for the style or for boxing, or maybe is it necessarily a physical attribute, or is it, like you said, it's 70% mental? Can you just pick up on somebody that kind of understands how a match goes fairly quickly?
Well, it's like, just in life, you have to have that you have to know your people, know your surroundings, and I do have an eye for it. I can tell majority of the time that this person, okay, this person is quiet. I'm quiet. So this person is special, right? He or she's not talking about what they're going to do, and they haven't done anything yet. They're going to let their performance speak for them. And so, the one thing you try to find, of course, is find a person that has heart. And once they have heart, you say you got potential. And then you can also work on the mindset. But it helps if they have the heart and then have the mind focus to go along with it. It makes the job a lot easier.
Oh, of course, definitely. That's great to hear, man. It's cool because, that's insight from somebody, a professional who's definitely been there before. So I think that's a great thing to talk about.
Well, because certain things you can help, you can help carry on. But as I tell anybody, you could be the greatest coach in the world.
Mm-hmm.
coach, you know. But if the person, the fighter or the athlete or whoever, don't have the will, the determination within themselves, you can bring it out, but they have to have it inside.
Yeah.
You know, they have to have it inside, and that's what makes it different from being ordinary, then achieving and going to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that's sort of the hardest thing to train somebody, is to sort of, because I mean, you have your motivation and your determination and grit, and now is that sort of, does that get frustrating when you come across a kid that maybe doesn't give 110% like you do, and you try to show him the way to do that and try to talk that into him, but he doesn't quite get that?
I look at it different. I'm a realist.
Mm-hmm.
So my gym, when they come in, I allow everybody to come and work out and do, go through the little training and stuff. But I want to take it. I'm like the military, Marine. I want to take a few proud men, because I know what it takes. I'm a fighter, and I understand when you get into the ring, 3 things can happen to you. You can be knocked unconscious, paralyzed, or killed. So there's no time to be playing around. There's no time to be joking around. So I tell everybody, if you want to come box, work out, to get fit, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if you want to fight and take it to another level, there's a whole different standards. Mm-hmm. So you have to make the mind up yourself and make sure you're ready to go to the next level.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great. That's great to hear. And now, I mean, now do you think safety now is bigger than it might have been back in the day, even, way back in the day? Because I remember seeing certain boxing fights, ESPN Classics, they have them every once in a while, where back in the 70s and 80s, where a guy would go in and, they'd go at it. But I feel like safety wasn't as a big issue maybe back then, 30, 40, 50 years ago, as it is today. Now, I mean, do you think safety is it's a big priority now, definitely?
Absolutely, because back then, I mean, let's face it, those were real warriors. I mean, not they were just not warriors now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they was fighting 15 rounds.
Yeah.
Fighters now there's no way they could do 15 rounds, because it's just too much. Mm-hmm. And they really fought to the death. And now it's a little more standard. If you get knocked down or if you get knocked out, you're mandatory 30, 60, 90 days where you have to lay off and try to recover and can't do anything physically. So. Yeah, it's a little. If then the fighter gets a little hurt, a little staggered, the referee will give him a mandatory 8 count. If then if he gets a little more trouble, he'll stop the fight. So.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's definitely good to hear. So I know during the documentary, I believe there was somebody who came in with a music idea, right, Ray? You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, that was. Gino Mays.
Mm-hmm.
Ron came over and goes, look, I have these, I did this video for this guy, and it's about a fighter. So I said, well, yeah, send it to us. Let's listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, it was the video for that documentary.
Yeah, it just kind of went together really well. It was almost like it was planned type deal.
Yeah, it was, like I said to you, everything just fell in place.
Yeah.
One thing after another.
Yeah, that's great. That's so awesome to hear, because it gives you so much, promise for the future. If things just fell into place like that for this, and China Smith was just telling us a story off the air about a situation where he was able to. He was trying to hold a class, and somebody was able to get him a venue basically to put this class on out of nowhere. It's really a godsend, you know what I'm saying? When you could tell when there's sort of a intervention, a divine intervention, and it seems like with this documentary, everything seems to be falling into place so well that only good things can come, from the future. This is 96.5 FM Sarasota, Florida, and this is John O. Now, we just watched Victorious by Gino Mays. That was a great song, honestly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, that, you weren't joking. I mean, that was perfect for this documentary and everything. I mean, China, what do you think of the song? I can only imagine that you were all about it. I mean, you were in most of it.
It's better than Rocky.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course that helped that I was in it, but the song, the message, the deliverance was just phenomenal. I mean, it moves you because this the words and stuff, and everyone can relate to it. Everyone can relate to that song.
Yeah, no, it's just like Eye of the Tiger. I mean, the things he was saying in there, and thanking thanking God and everything. I mean, I thought that was a great video, especially for your comeback and everything. I'm sure that's something you'll be listening to when you start working out and training and getting going. I can imagine that's going to be one on there.
Well, Kid Ron, he was kind enough to send me a download on my phone, and so I have it on automatic now. So
there you go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah. No,
that's your ringtone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. No, man, I don't blame you. Heck, I'm gonna remember this thing on YouTube. I'm gonna listen to it. When I go and work out or whenever, just every day. I mean that and. I'm the Man by Aloe Block. I don't think his name is. It's been all the commercials right now, for football and stuff. I mean, just songs like that. They're so motivational, And if you haven't seen the music video, I mean, definitely look it up. It's Victorious by Gino Mays. China Smith's in the music video. It's several parts of the documentary basically are part of that from the looks of it. It's him training on the heavy bag and just being in the ring and everything. It's a pretty cool music video. I really respect that.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Ray and Colleen, you looking forward to everything coming? I can imagine, right?
Yeah, we're excited.
We're excited. We're going to find out in about 3 weeks. We're going to find out in 3 weeks that we're going to be accepted.
Yeah,
I have to stay positive. I can't say if we can get accepted. I can't say that. I know we're going to be accepted, and of course we'll let you know, and
definitely.
let everybody know because we want to promote this. We want to sell out.
Oh yeah,
completely sell out the Sarasota Film Festival.
Oh, definitely. No, I think you and Laura here will do a great job coming up in 3 weeks, and I can't. There's no way this isn't going to be accepted. I think we can decide that it will be accepted right now.
That's right.
So China. So now Kid Ron Burgundy, he is here. He's been hanging out very patiently. And, what was it like, working with him and having him videotape everything and really just being part of your life for a little while and, getting in on you training and everything and just hanging out with him?
Well, it was a true honor. I mean, he's a great man, and over the years I have a lot of people film me on different videos and do interviews and stuff. But for a person to interview my life and I asked my family's questions and my coaches and my trainer, this was obviously more personal. He did a phenomenal job, and I had no expectation what it was going to look like, but he put it together and made it marvelously. I mean, it was just beautiful. It was, it's indescribable. And I really appreciate what he's done and what he's doing, and I really truly, like Ray said, you have to be positive, but it is because, you do what you can do. You did the best you can do, and I'm with a group of great people. Now you leave it in God's hand, and if God brings you to it, He will bring you through it. If He's for you, who could be against you? And for people that's in Sarasota, Braden, world, this is a local thing we done. Mm-hmm. So it should be very easy for people to get involved because it's a positive message, and we're going out to the world for everybody to share. So this could support what we're doing. Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely that. And what do you think, Kid Ron? I think it's some pretty big praise right there, definitely.
Well, I want to thank China. He's a very, very, very sweet guy. He's big and scary looking, but he's a sweetheart. This guy.
Of course, yeah. No, he's a humble. He's a good guy, definitely. I agree, man.
It was good to like somebody from my hometown who was who were progressing and stuff, and living his dream basically, and I actually didn't know who China was until Ray and Lori introduced me to him, and then I find out who he is, and then just working on the documentary, you get to really know somebody, like all the aspects of their life, and he was just a really, really good guy, and I'm honored to know him and have been able to make this documentary with him. Yeah,
I know. I mean, you kind of had the fast track into his life. I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, hey, I'm China Smith. Oh, I'm Kid Ron. Let's be friends. It was like
6 months later, I know his whole life story.
Yeah, now it's like, hey, China, I'm gonna interview everyone you've ever known. So I'm gonna videotape that and get to know you. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool, man. I bet I imagine you had a lot of fun. Slicing everything together. How was that? Really just the technical part of it, putting it all together, cutting everything up, putting music to it, and and especially what I like about photography is getting the angles, getting your different recording angles, especially like when China's hitting the heavy bag or the speed bag or in the ring, just being a part of that, moving around, making it look fluid and making it look good.
Yeah. Well, when you're in the ring, filming, you got to watch out because these guys are quick and they're big, Yeah. And then there's sweat flying everywhere. So between the actual comeback fight and then like the music video and everything, I mean, I probably got a bunch of Tommy's sweat all over me. There was a shot where I was like underneath them and they were like punching and it was like a sprinkler system. But you do what you got to do to get the shots. You know what I'm saying? You can't be shy. You can't be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get dirty." Yeah. If you want to get like the shots that you want, you got to get in there and get dirty.
Of course, that you got to watch out because China, you never know, it might come around with a swing and just bam.
I remember they're like, "Wait, you're gonna be in the ring?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I'll move out of your way." It's like, all right.
You won't even notice I'm here, and if you do, it'll be too late for me anyways. Well, that's awesome, man. No, so what was it like just sort of, working with China, really trying to get these different angles? Like what? Where were you finding sort of not your inspiration, but really, how were you deciding about what was good? And were you trying different angles, or did you kind of just feel that like this was going to be it from when you started and you went in there?
Yeah, well, I've never really like shot any like sports type stuff before. I mean, a little bit here and there, but never any kind of boxing or anything. I'm not even like a boxing fan, but I was like, well, we're gonna do this boxing documentary. I had like all kinds of ideas of like cool shots, I mean, just from seeing other boxing documentaries. Like I looked online and found like the Floyd Mayweather one, and I thought they had some really good stuff in there. And it's a lot of it's by feel. Once you're there and you're doing it, and you see what what China's doing and his trainers are doing, then you kind of like get inspiration from that.
Yeah, so you sort of use the techniques you might have used, because you do a lot of other things. You do like wedding videos, music videos, different things. So you would kind of use your techniques from that and just sort of apply it to this. I mean, what was the difference between, say, shooting the music video for Gino Mays? Well, I guess that was kind of similar because there's so much boxing involved. But say before the film, we watched a music video that you did with. Who was that again?
It was Gino, but he had his partner Skunk Boogie was with him.
Yeah. So I mean, what would be the differences between shooting your music video and shooting this documentary?
Well, I mean, every music video is different. You get different shots and stuff. And the same with the documentary. I mean, everything's different. A little bit, but essentially it is the same. I mean, with when you're director of photography or a filmmaker, I mean, you kind of have your own style, like that you like to do. I don't always like follow the standard stuff that people learn in film school, because I didn't go to film school. But sometimes it's a little bit better, because then you don't get like instilled with like, oh, you got to do it this certain way and it can only be that way. You can think more out of the box. You don't have anybody that's just like, people will critique you and stuff like that, but other people will love it, and you're not going to be able to please everybody. And
exactly, thus is art, right?
Right. So you do the best that you can do. You do your work, and then you share it with people and hope people enjoy it.
Put yourself out there, and some people are gonna like it, some people aren't gonna like it, and that's just how that's how life goes, really.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with this? I mean, how exactly were you? I mean, I'm assuming you didn't just walk into a boxing gym and they were like, "Hey, can you videotape?"
No. I've been networking within like the filmmaking community for the last few years, and I met Ray and Lori, and they were like, "Oh, we want you to, come out and, shoot some stuff for this like promo video that we're gonna do for China." And I was like, "All right, sure." I love I always want to do different things. I want to be, as versed as possible in like any kind of genre of film or, video or whatever. So I came out there and I was like, it's going to be interesting. We got like real boxers that aren't just like some amateur dudes off the street who don't know what they're doing. These are guys that are professionals.
Yeah, yeah.
And, and it was just really easy to go in there and, China's, pro athlete, he just gets in there and does it. I'm like amazed at the stamina that this guy has. I mean, he didn't even like take a drink of water most of the time, so I'd be like, that was me.
And he's like 4 minutes later, 1,400 punches, da 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 da. I was like, yeah, what else you got?
Yeah, when we were shooting the music video, we had, Tommy in China here, like in the background in the boxing, and I make the artists go through the whole song just so I have options. We might go 5, 6, 7 times through the whole song, and they're throughout the 4 or 5 minute song that it is, they're sparring the whole time, 5, 6, 7, like one after the other.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know how they did it. I mean, I think that towards the end they were getting a little tired, like, hey, are we done yet?
It's like, how many shots you gotta do in this music video, man? Like, come on now.
But yeah, I mean, I think it came out really good. And Gino, like, he told me like 6 months before I even knew that we were going to do this documentary, like, this song, it'd really be cool if we had like somebody training in a gym and, maybe some people boxing behind me in the ring. And I was like, man, where the heck are we going to get that to happen? I mean, I don't know anybody who's a boxer or any rings that we can go to. And, we just kind of forgot about it. And then we started doing the documentary and I was like, man, this song would like work perfect. And,
yeah,
if we could make the video, that would be great. So we just kind of
it just worked out for everyone, really.
Yeah,
all of us.
I mean,
my God,
that's the best thing I like about this is that, I mean, it's a great story. You got a great face to the documentary with China Smith, and I mean, everything fell together like so well that it just feels natural. It feels like, it just feels like it's gonna go somewhere. That's the best part about it.
John, we became a family during this filming. It was like we know each other, like we grew up with each other.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine, man.
It was unbelievable.
That's what happens when you make a film. Like any film that you see, like in a movie theater, those people become kind of like a close-knit family because you're with those people for, however long shooting is, 30, 60, 90 days of shooting. And you become really close because those are the people you're with most of the time for that amount of time.
Yeah.
So you get to really, develop a lot of relationships and, networking, and you'll get work from something else that because you met this person.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is a thing that I feel like none of you are really gonna ever forget. This is a project that you all the 4 of you put together and you put so much time into it. This is going to be a thing to where 10, 15 years from now you're going to think back to this documentary and you're going to remember like, yeah, who knows where it goes or what happens, but regardless of what happens, you're going to remember just doing that.
Yep.
And I think that's a special situation.
This is our first documentary.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's a really cool thing.
You're not gonna forget.
Yeah,
it's a baby. That's the first baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Just the experience in general, and I know China Smith really appreciated it, and I mean, I'm sure you were more than happy to really be involved in everything and to share yourself with so many people.
Absolutely, because thank you. You try to tell a story, or you try to, always. I try to always be positive, stay positive, and send a positive message to kids and people, young adults, or anybody I encounter. But when you have people like surrounding me with Ray and Laura Ray and Kid Burgundy, doing what they do, that's their profession. And just to be able to take my story, my life, and be able to put all the pieces together and put all the stuff together is phenomenal, man. Because one person, I couldn't have done all that by myself, and I didn't do it by myself. So it takes a teamwork, and I'm a believer. Teamwork makes the dream work. So just to have all that to come together, and then now it's here, and now it's people, once they see it, they fall in love with it because it is a true story. I mean, and it's a positive message, and maybe can help somebody, change somebody's life, and say, hey, he did, I can do it, and go from there.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think that's where we'll end the interview. I think that's a great thing to go off on, and I think we're running out of time here, and I just want to thank everybody for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
And
thank you.
Of course, it was Ron Burgundy, China Smith, Ray, of course, and Lori. And thanks for sharing these past 2 hours for me and giving me, some of your life story and, what you guys are doing with your company, and Ron talking about, your career videotaping and just really, sharing the entire moment and the whole situation that you guys had. So anyways, this is WSLR LP 96.5 FM Sarasota, Florida. You're listening to the After Party Show. My name is John O. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next week. I'm going to end this with one last song. And like I said, I just want to say one more time, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And, it was a great story. And best of luck to all of you. And China, I know great things are going to come for you. Definitely. I can see it. And, I think this documentary is going to go places.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good night.
Good night.